So one of the things that we're talking about in this unit is we're talking about ways to improve our ability to communicate with parents and with students. And the default assignment, of course, for everyone is to do a class website because for most people, that's something that they want to do and be able to work on, and they haven't ever done that before. But class websites are not the only way that you could facilitate discussion and communication with your students. Another way is that you could use something like a social network. And we're very familiar with social networks. I'm sure that probably most of you are on Facebook, for example, as a social network, and there are others like LinkedIn and many others, in fact, that you can belong to. And because they're so familiar, they're sometimes a good option to use with students because they already know and are familiar with how a social network works. The other nice thing about social networks is that you can make them visible only to the members of that network and not visible to anyone else. So you can be a little bit more private and have a little bit more security for your students if that's something that you're interested in. Sometimes you want to be able to have a website that's publicly accessible so that parents and anybody who comes to the website can be able to access the material. And as some folks have mentioned before in this assignment, that they think it's really important that it be easy to be able to access information. So if you want it to be easy to access information, a normal website is usually best. But if you want security and community, then sometimes a social network is preferred. So this is an example of a social network that one of my students created for one of her projects a previous year. And just to give you an idea of how it works, and this is very simple, she just did the very basics here, but you can see how it is kind of laid out a little bit like Facebook. Now this is Wall.fm, Wall.fm, and so you can get it for free because it's free. They do put a little ad here. You can pay more money if you want to and get rid of the ad. But you can see in the main page there are things like upcoming events. She can have her calendar in here, so a little class calendar. People can leave comments if they have questions about upcoming events. Each student in the class can have a blog, kind of like in Facebook, everyone has their own page. It's kind of the same thing. And when they post things on those blogs, they can show up on the main feed here. And so this was actually her. This is the teacher. This is her post about something that she wants her students to see. And then there's the news feed, which will show everything that's happening within the network, such as videos being posted, blog posts, comments, discussion forums. You can see down here she had a discussion forum about a book, and I posted on that discussion forum. Here was maybe an example assignment that somebody turned in, and she gave an example of the kind of report that students could turn in. And then you can have discussions about those, which is kind of nice. So if you have students create movie trailers, book trailers about books that they're reading, or some other kind of multimedia project, or even a paper project, and then they upload it to this social network, you can then have the students within the class comment on each other and give each other feedback, which is kind of a nice option. And so birthdays, even different things like that, discussion forums, like I said. So that's really nice. You can click on the member button here and be able to see all the members of the community and then be able to email them back and forth. So that way students don't have to give out their emails if they don't want to, but they can still message each other within the class and collaborate on assignments. Discussion forums, they can chat in real time, which can be a nice feature too. If they're working on a major project, maybe you might choose to have a homework time, maybe say Thursday night, 6 to 8 p.m., and maybe get parent volunteers to help participate in that so that you as a teacher don't have to do it all the time. And they could be available to just answer questions, or sometimes I know teachers like to have students read their writing to somebody and just have someone listen to it and give them feedback. And so that could be an opportunity where you could have students share a piece of writing with someone and then get feedback, and so that can happen through chatting, which can be helpful for especially those students that maybe don't have as much parental support and to do their homework at nighttime. And a lot of those students can access these websites through the library, but they need an adult, maybe someone that they can have some help with their homework. You can post links, outside links, videos, and even form students into groups so that they can do group activities. So a lot of the things that you would see in other social networks you can see is in play here with an educational twist, which I think can also be really an effective way to manage your group if you choose to do that instead of a website. And of course, for our assignment, if you do like this option, you can propose to do this instead of a normal class website. And if you do email me, and I have a separate rubric, and I can send that to you, and you can do that for your project instead. For the most of you, though, creating a class website is the best option, and I just want to make you aware when you become teachers that there are things like Wall FM out there that you can use if you want to.